Welcome to this series about capacity and capability building to craft and shape operations, enabling adoption and adaption. As we go through this journey, we take a more in-depth look at selected aspects with a focus on business issues around technological transformation. We hope the skills and expertise shared is of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others. This week, we look at the issue of social media and related content coming from the use of artificial intelligence algorithms. We use Facebook, or Meta, as an example of business impacts around artificial intelligence. This is in no way a criticism of the company and its actions, nor is it a recommendation. Rather, this is an illustrative example of managing the issues around AI and the need for a capacity and capability for crafting and shaping the adoption and adaption around the use of AI. While Facebook is used as an example, the same applies to other social media companies or other businesses transformed by technology. This example also shows the role of incumbency and vested interest alongside the drivers of cost, markets, customers, and regulatory. A key message this week is capacity and capability for crafting and shaping the adoption and adaption around the use of AI. Please feel free to share respectfully your views in the comments below. Let's provide a little context. Business responds to drivers like regulatory or legislation, to markets, to customers, and to costs. Variations in the physical environment can also impact like droughts or floods, either directly or indirectly. For a business, the incumbency also impacts the cost to change, the ability to challenge existing players are examples of this. Vested interests are also at play. From protecting existing operations to restricting emerging competition to regulatory limitations, vested interest plays its role in automation and artificial intelligence. The changes within technology manifest within these drivers. Social media, especially Facebook, has been in the news around the content presented, the monetization of this content, privacy, and what is the responsibility of a business. This has led to extensive discussions on various aspects with a range of views on the need for and the role of regulation. Again, this is not a matter of judgment or to state a solution to the widely discussed social media issues. Rather, this is about an example of business impacts of changing technology. Please feel free to share respectively your views in the comments below. The publisher view of Facebook. Some see Facebook as a publisher, and the company should have the responsibilities of a publisher. Policies like those of existing media companies would then apply, which means that according to jurisdiction, Facebook would have a role in censoring content, especially comments. Facebook would have responsibilities around user identification, authentication, as well as meeting content standards and proof of content validity. Some argue that technology change has seen Facebook become a publisher, but the regulation has not kept up with the business model and the scale of its operations. The use of artificial intelligence and algorithms either reinforces this view of a publisher and that Facebook needs to respond, or it is in the way the algorithms are used which has created problems and which needs to be addressed. Platform view. Some see Facebook as a platform that is used by people to publish content through which engagement with friends and communities is achieved. Rather than a subscription model, Facebook has monetized the value of free, like watching free-to-air TV, paid for by adverts. Some then argue that the platform approach is then content agnostic, like a word processing software purchased or on a subscription basis. But given the publishing and distribution responsibilities of the platform, what are the responsibilities of the provider of the platform in this regard? Just as limits apply to what can appear on billboards and people handing out libelous materials can be sued, what is the role and responsibilities of the platform function? A platform model would also have jurisdictional complexities to manage, and there are questions of what a good company does and its responsibilities in the platform role. The algorithm complexity. Facebook as a company has changed its products and services around technology and is seen as a leader in the monetization of content using algorithms. Facebook is a closed-loop provider with users providing content and details for matching to specific advertising needs rather than being an open-loop provider. The absence of complex data sets with varying quality across industries and jurisdictional simplifies the algorithmic function. Facebook monetization by algorithms is also of limited material impact, e.g. direct death from an algorithm decision with related lawsuit is seldom seen, though this is starting to change. Facebook has used algorithms to monitor its users like any other business looking to realize value from its customers. While there are questions about how, the extent, the customer awareness, the transparency, and how the data are managed. Yet, all of this is part of existing customer monitoring. It is in the use of AI and algorithms where the issues have arisen against business practices. Focused marketing is an existing business practice which Facebook has applied technology to, especially its algorithms. Using the algorithms to make decisions and influence customers is where the issues have occurred within focused marketing. Product suggestions based on customer relationships and observed purchases, e.g. offering paint brushes to someone buying paint, is standard. For Facebook, it is again the use of algorithms where problems have been identified. Part of this is the level of operations as well as user familiarity with this approach. Business being effective in their operations or making mistakes is part of business. For Facebook, it has been in the business response to issues occurring with algorithms where business shortcomings have been seen. The Facebook example shows how artificial intelligence algorithms have driven changes to its business, as well as the varying of the business response to the resulting business changes. For Facebook, the algorithms have driven profitability, created new markets, allowed the business to purchase competitors, and has enabled Facebook to leverage incumbency. Vested interests have supported Facebook at times, e.g. regulatory regimes. Whether Facebook is a publisher or a platform would impact its business model. With a cost to change, as well as to operate going forward. Significantly, though, is the algorithm issue. Algorithms would be in play with either business model, as is seen with traditional media, streaming services, and other online content services. Regulators would still need to address algorithm issues as well as meeting the emerging issues from algorithms. Facebook is now more of an algorithm management business with an emerging regulatory regime to operate with it. The Facebook example shows for many businesses of the need for capacity and capability for crafting and shaping the adoption and adaption to artificial intelligence and its related business impact. For Facebook, it is not the algorithms per se that is the issue. Rather, it is aspects like the size of the operation, i.e. a 3-user operation would not be as significant. It is the influence of the operation impacts. A low-profile business would be different. Who is being affected, how many and how important they are, influence the engagement and response around AI. So if a high-profile person is impacted or a young child, the response varies. The level of impacts comes to bear, e.g. deaths and high-profile court cases. There are the costs to change and the incentives to change, which also factor within the business impacts. For Facebook, like any other business, it is the wider issues beyond what the AI does which impacts and drives decisions. Irrespective of your views on the company and how it should be regulated by who and how, the fact remains that Facebook has responded to varying degrees in different ways to the use of artificial intelligence algorithms. Lessons can be learned from this example and used in the pragmatic, practical implementation of technology. Thank you for your time. May the skills and expertise shared be of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others.